Hey, what's up guys? So today we're going to be doing a comparison between the Samsung Galaxy J3 and the ZTE Warp Elite. Both phones offered by Boost Mobile and both priced at $179.99, so we're going to see the difference between them two. The Warp Elite's on my right, the Galaxy J3 is on my left, and let's discuss the physical features of the device, as both of them seem pretty well built. The Galaxy J3 basically being more plastic, but that's Samsung's niche. You can see it's smaller than the ZTE Warp Elite. It actually fits with inside the device placed on top of it. And with the ZTE Warp Elite, it just seems a little bit more premium built. Feeling the differences between them in hand, you'll definitely know difference. Plastic on the Galaxy, as I said, and a matte finish back on the ZTE Warp Elite. While both are made of plastic, the Warp Elite doesn't feel too plasticky. Now, as far as in your hand, they both fit okay. They're both flat slab phones, so they're not very ergonomic to fit comfortably in your hand if you're gonna be holding it for long periods of time. Showing you guys right now how thick they are. Now, I actually thought that the Galaxy J3 was going to be thinner, but they are actually nearly the same thickness. Putting them together, and let me show you guys from the bottom side here. As you guys can see, they are about, as far as thickness, about the same thickness. So yeah, I was quite surprised by that, just seeing how they are. Now, of course, you guys can tell side by side that the Warp Elite is taller. The Galaxy J3 has a 5-inch display. The ZTE Warp Elite has a 5.5-inch display. Now, there are more bezels on the Warp Elite compared to the Galaxy J3, but not too much of a big deal. So screen quality here, you guys will see. I'll show you guys the differences in how the display looks, and this is with some background light. So we'll use the Warp Elite here, and we will show you guys. Let me unlock the phone real quick. Can't give you guys my password. And that's how the screen looks on the Warp Elite with some background lighting. Let me turn the lamp off here, and you guys can see exactly how brightness is. Now, the brightness is actually set all the way down on both devices, so you guys can pretty much get an idea of how bright the screen is on the low side compared to it being at full brightness. Now, as far as the way that they function very smooth, navigating between screens and whatnot. There's not much of, actually there is no lag at all whatsoever on neither device. Hasn't been any hiccups or nothing like that. It's just been a smooth experience. The app drawers are pretty much the same, side scrolling versus a vertical list. So yeah. So what we'll look at right now is customization, because both phones can be customized. Both phones have the ability to apply a theme, except with the ZTE Warp Elite, you only have 3 themes, and there are no downloadable themes, whereas the Galaxy J3, there is downloadable themes from the Galaxy App Store, so you can download more different themes. I wish they did that for the Warp Elite, but my favorite is this one here. It's called Fancy, and it gives the icons more of a rounded corner box look, where so you know, this gives it a little bit of something better, that you can theme it than not being able to theme it at all. And this is just with the stock launchers. There's no aftermarket launchers applied to neither one of the devices, so therefore just right out of the box you can have some fun with it. Let's see here. So let's figure out what we want to do here next. Probably gonna run yeah, we go run a bench, run some benchmarks. We're gonna use a Geekbench 3. And now, one thing I want to tell people is that these benchmarks just kind of give you an idea of how the phone will function, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to function badly. So while we let these scores tally up here, Couple things that I do want to mention though is that both phones have 1.2 gigahertz quad-core processor. Both phones are actually using the Snapdragon 410, with the Warp Elite having 2 gigs of RAM, the Galaxy J3 only having 1.5 gigabytes of RAM. So that's going to make a big factor in this. Both phones have 16 gigs of internal storage, about 11 gigabytes usable on either side, so internal storage is not a problem. The Warp Elite has expandable memory with the SD card up to, I believe, 32 or 64 gigabyte SD card, whereas the Galaxy J3 can use 128 gigabyte SD card. So again, you know, expandable storage is really, really good. It's something that needs to remain on all devices for several different reasons, but that's actually glad you have it there. 3000 milliamp hour battery on the Warp Elite and a 2600 milliamp hour battery on the Galaxy J3. Non-removable on the ZTE Warp Elite, so you will have to carry something like a power bank or even your charger to keep it juiced up. Where with the Galaxy J3 has a removable battery, so you can order an additional battery that you keep charged at all times and keep that on you, or you can choose to use a power bank. Either way, neither device has NFC, so you cannot use tap to pay. The Warp Elite having a 13 megapixel rear facing camera and 5 megapixel front facing camera, as the Galaxy J3 only has a 5 megapixel rear facing shooter and a 2 megapixel front facing shooter. We will get into some picture qualities at the end of this to show you guys the differences between the two. So here, the Warp Elite actually finished 472 single and 1399 multi-core. And again, you know, it started off later than the J3, but caught up and passed. And you know, it's going to be the 2 gigs of RAM that really helps it out versus 1.5 gig of RAM. And I think that's going to be the determining factor between the two, is just how efficient it can run applications. We're still waiting on the J3 to finish its benchmarks, and here we go. 386 single core and 1138 multi-core. Now, again, you know, the score seems like it favors the Warp Elite, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the Warp Elite is dominantly better. Like I said, these things are just to give you a general idea of just how these devices will run, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you know, the J3 is a slower device or a sluggish device. It's really quite efficient and smooth as far as using it. So let's do some picture tests here, as you guys can see. I'm going to take this photo right now with I'm going to take a picture of the Galaxy J3 using the rear-facing 13 megapixel camera, and here's what it looks like. And this is just with indoor lighting. So let's turn the lamp on here, and we're going to snap another photo with the rear camera with some actual decent lighting, and you guys will kind of see the differences in the photo shots. Now I feel like this is a very big deal because you know, indoor photos versus outdoor, major you know, big issues here. So there you go, that's with backlighting. And there's a lot of construction going on in my apartment, so don't mind the background noise. Now we're going to use the Galaxy J3, and we're going to take some photos here. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take some with the light and some without the light, so you guys get a general feel exactly how it is. So this is with backlighting. There we go. And might I want to add real quick, the cameras are quite well on both. Even though the Galaxy J3 has lower spec rear and front facing camera, they seem on par with average taking. So anyways, yeah, so here we are, we have the light on, and we're gonna take a picture with the light on as well, and show you guys what it looks like with lighting. And again, you know, my camera recording this video does not do these pictures some justice, but I do have some videos showing the camera qualities on my YouTube channel, so you guys can just if you guys want, I'll link those 2 videos in the description, so you guys can actually get like a full idea of how the pictures are going to look. Let's mess with the front facing camera without any, you know, backlighting on. There I am. Yeah, I'm not really good at picture taking, so let's click my lamp on to give some lighting and then take another photo. And there we go. So that was with the Galaxy J3. Let's now do the same with show you guys the photos right now real quick. There's light on and light off. And let's do some selfies with the Warp Elite. Let me just unlock the device real quick, and then we'll start taking some selfies here to show you the differences. But I think you guys will get majority of the differences with my actual videos of the pictures from either device. So definitely check those ones out. So here's without lighting. And let's click the lamp on, and let's get some light. And let's take another one. Alright. Now let's go view the photos. There's with light. And there's without light. So I mean, the camera quality is okay. Like, you would think with a 5 megapixel front-facing camera on the Warp Elite would be, very stellar, but the LG G Stylo takes better front-facing photos, in my opinion. But that's off topic. But between the two, they're pretty much on par. I mean, the J3 does have lower specs, and so yeah, definitely. So anyways, guys, if you guys enjoyed this video, let me know by leaving me a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed, please do so. Click that subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time.